Hey replay crew, how's everybody doing? Happy New Year. I think I'm just gonna work kind of quietly through this one. It has been quite the whiplash to my decision to take this channel to art only. So I knew that would come. I knew that there would be some canceling going on, but I just know that there are arty people out there, and we'll be working to make art mindfully to boost each other up and encourage the creativity. And meanwhile, if folks want to use their time just standing there telling lies, they can do that. The wide world of the internet. We'll say I've been spending my time recently doing some research. And it's simple research. I compiled a list of data, including about 75 out of, let's say, 250 accounts, with everything from the subscribers, number of videos, number of views, and I worked out some calculations on the average number of views per video. I had a look at a website called Social Blade, where you can find out so much information, not only about your own channels, but you can also find it out about other channels. You can see a day-by-day accumulation of subscribers. You can say you're looking at a channel that's got content, maybe 2 or 3 types of streams during the week, and then maybe on the weekend a different type of a stream. And you can see where the memberships accrue. You can see one channel compared to another one for the same type of activity. So if, for example, a channel is accruing subscriptions by the 100s, units of 100, that's really apparent. And maybe another channel that does a similar type of a recreational live stream with a music feed, you look at the way that that channel accumulates subscribers, 42 here, 83 there, 110 here. That to me looks like a much more natural accumulation of subscribers. When you accumulate them by the 100s or the 200s, to my eye, that looks like buying subscriptions. And that is prohibited under the YouTube terms of service. So it's absolutely apparent. And you can take a look at the rankings of where channels might be. If channels are hitting their subscriber and their view counts within ranges that are consistent with their position in the community, and when they are outliers. It's just hugely obvious. So that data is getting tucked into a spreadsheet where we can do even more calculations with it. And I'm just putting my brain to use working on that project. So I'm not terribly happy with somebody running a live stream and telling lies about me. So, Ryder Green, welcome in. I'm just trying to clear my mind, and I'm working on a little drawing. It's got a watercolor background there, and I'm just sketching some pebble shapes on it. What kind of art do you do? Anyway, to any reasonable person, I will have made my point. So let's just concentrate on the art, shall we? Yeah, I've got a pretty good stack of these. I like to just take a little bit of time, hang out. I mean, that's what we like to do. We like to keep it civil. We like to keep it supportive. And I've just recently had somebody who's been trying to make that really difficult for me. So my apologies out to anybody who's out there just looking for the usual calm and mindfulness. It'd be great, wouldn't it, if we could always just have that going and flowing? But the fact of life is that there are forces that enter our sphere, and it can be really destabilizing and upsetting. You know, if I was always calm, I wouldn't need to engage in tasks that are calculated to help calm and balance. So I almost always have mindfulness somewhere in the description or somewhere in the title. We don't always talk about it. I figure there's a lot of apps out there. There's everything from Calm. There's so many resources to find meditations that I rarely break those down. But if anybody has any questions about where to find some mindfulness resources, or ones, if you know ones that you like, drop it in the comments, drop it in the chat. If you have any questions, if they're in the chat, we'll try to get to them. If they're in the comments, we'll try to address it in a future video. If you're unfamiliar with mindfulness practice, one of the places to get started that's really very accessible for everybody is breathing meditation. And it's easy because you already do it, right? We all are always, up until we stop breathing, I suppose. But as long as we're living, we're breathing. I'm just sketching some little drawings of pebbles. Just keeping my mind happy with some of these bad boys. Art show. You don't have to paint very well. You just have to splash a little bit of paper with some paint. Take a pen. And just where the paint swirls, you can just kind of find a little space and outline it. I sometimes do some fine art that's a little bit less sketchy. Sometimes we actually paint rocks. Make paintings of rocks, not actually paint the rocks. I, I've been known to get confused about painting rocks versus painting rocks, so yeah. And we talk about art. Talk about all kinds of art. Anything. Oh, some of the regulars around here do everything from acrylic paint pours to resin. Um, of course, painting and drawing. Polymer clay sculptures. I myself work in a lot of different media. I work in everything from colored pencil to knitting, fibers. Jewelry making, silversmithing, cooking. You know, people come in and say, "Oh, but I'm not creative." Well, yeah. How are you with the? Do you make cookies? That's creative. I think that counts. Shoto, thank you. I appreciate that. I really love color, so I love anything that just gives me an excuse to um, get paint out or buy more paint or it's kind of a dull sort of a. I don't like super bright colors. I like things that are kind of subdued or mysterious. Look at that. That's just like one color of paint. All I did was get like watercolor, get it wet, get the brush, and like just the one color paint does all that. So, um, I mean, sometimes I'll paint all of the colors on. I'll put all the colors on there. You can't stop me. But I also like just sort of the mystery of, what's going to go on. I started working with watercolors a few years ago, and I'd tried them like way back when I was, in my 20s or teens, and just found them really, like they were hard. I couldn't make anything beautiful with it, and went, watercolor's stupid. And a few years ago, somebody suggested that using watercolor might break me out of sort of the rigid habits that I'd gotten into in printmaking, actually. And so I took it up, and then I fell in love with it. Probably because it's uncooperative and challenging, and you put the water in, and the paint goes wherever the hell it wants, and you're just like, you know. It's also like it's serendipitous in that it sort of magically makes these shapes that you could not paint with a brush if you tried. But if you just put water, drop of paint on paper, this thing happens. Like this one, that's one color. That's Daniel Smith, Cascade Green. I, I mean, I did mush it around with the brush a little bit, but like, could you paint that if you tried? I don't know. Somebody maybe could, but anyway, so I feel like for most people, there's a media out there that is going to turn you on in a creative way as much as watercolor gets me going. So I just encourage you to, maybe it's drawing, maybe it's, I don't know, we don't know, but hey, Maya. Wait, what did you say? Oh, you guys aren't arguing about time zones though, are you? Yeah, she's coming to us from the the northern reaches of Norway, and I am in Oregon in the United States, so you can say good morning. It's probably morning to somebody out there hanging out with us. So say good afternoon, good evening. There'll be somebody to go, why, thank you. Good afternoon to you, too. Yeah. Anime. There we go. See, I knew somebody'd pop up with the manga or the anime, and you know, there's so much fun, so many colors, and the black brushwork in that. It's pretty fantastic. So, hey, Pondfish. So, you guys want to see the painting I'm working on right now? Took a little time from the data crunching to, yeah, I kind of formed a clear picture with that. Boy, did I ever. And I've been working intermittently on. Guess what I painted? What do you guys want? You want to guess what I painted? I'm in a bit of a phase right now. I've been painting, rocks. That's watercolor. God, it's just so exciting to me right now. Chocolate quilts, boy, hello. You did a live? Chocolate quilts, you did a live? We got you going? Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, so, yeah. You should have seen them from 6 months ago. I'm not even gonna put them in the same video. They're back on my channel if you want to go see. But it's really come along, and that is down to practice. It's down to coming to it, and just working at it a little bit every day. So I like to use this as a warm up. You know, sometimes it's really hard to just come to the work and just dive in and start painting on a technically high level. And we do need we need our hand to be warmed up. We need our fine muscles to be just like you would warm up if you're going to play basketball or run track or, swim, anything like that. You do need to kind of warm up and get your brain and your muscles all connected. So these, there we go. I'm looking for ones that have a little bit of a, do you see that shimmer in there? It's from a paint that includes some ground up semi-precious gemstones. They're beautiful, they're sparkly, they clog up the pen. I'm just on the tail end of this pen, so I wanted to, I don't want to burn a new pen on this if it's going to plug up the nib, but this one's almost out of ink, so I kind of save these guys so I can, I'll ruin the pen on this on the way out. Basically, I think is what I'm saying. Artsy fartsy. I would have. I had you confused for somebody else when you were in here the other day, and I apologize. Yeah, there's somebody who is also has a very similar name to yours. So, welcome back, and I'll try to keep it straight. Okay. So sometimes it's a little bit muddled. We've got some new people in here tonight. So sometimes, like you saw this one just go and it just takes a couple of minutes. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to for my brain to sort out where the shapes are. And it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, it's paper. It's just paper. I'm in charge of it. I can put those lines anywhere I please. You know, I could just line them up in a row across. Maybe I'll do that with one of these. So there's basically what I'm saying. There's like not a wrong way to do this, but sometimes I find that I am sort of pausing and looking for the quote unquote right thing to do. And when it comes to art, there's we do stop as artists. We get really stopped in our tracks thinking that there is a right and a wrong thing to do. And that is the enemy of producing art. It freezes us. What helps us make art? You know what it is? Making art. Hey, Adam. So, any exercise that helps us to get in motion, whether we're writers, you know, and the motion is putting the pen on the paper and cranking out some words, whether it's circling random shapes that are sort of like, oh, I see a dog in the clouds, in the sky, or a tree or a dragon. This is the same kind of exercise. And then once I get my hand all, you know, warmed up and my brain loosened from its attachment to the idea of perfection, the work is better. The painting is better. And for one thing, the work is, as opposed to isn't yet because I'm still just looking at a blank piece of paper. So it's quite a few things that can move us from inaction into action. It could just be me encouraging you. It could be you guys encouraging each other. Oh, I'm going to read this one. Uh, Maya ran this past me the other day, and I just stopped and like put my pen down and thought about it a minute. And she had this to share, which is you learn more from your messes than your successes. Every time I make some kind of a mess on, I mean, this is a mess on. This is not a mess on. This is a mess on paper. We'll just work with it. We'll put some circles over it, and we'll learn from it. Yeah. So thank you, Maya. Maya says so. Try to mess up as much as possible. That might be that might be a bit of a I don't know. I don't know. Are you leading us down the primrose path, Maya? Dan K, hello, welcome in. Yeah. So like the week was getting away from me. I don't usually stream on a Friday night because you know there's a lot of. But it's not always it's not always the. Anyway, this Friday night is different. You guys are great. Let's just leave it at that. And our week was a little weird. So usually try to hit you guys with a Tuesday or early Wednesday morning kind of a live stream, and this week just was, uh, different calendar. So I am really glad to see everybody out there. Been a little bit of a stressful week, and I just always appreciate the arty fellowship so much. I gotta tell you, I've worked in several different spaces online, not just on YouTube, but I've worked in other communities as well, and this art community is hands down the best place I've ever found to hang out on the internet with people. I very often come away from these live streams feeling happier, uplifted, creative. Um, and there are some other spaces where I've come away from the work and needed to take a 4 hour nap. And if that's what it's like where you're spending your time on the internet, uh, try to break away from it. Try to find something that um, feeds your happiness and your creativity a little bit better. That doesn't suck the will to live out of you. So, Dan, what do you got planned for tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday. And look forward to Saturday mornings to hang out. Looked at chat, totally lost my train of thought. It's the end of the week. I'm kind of out of sentences, so you guys will cut me some slack, right? Hey, yeah. So Dan does elegant woodcraft, and I want a gold star for getting it right this time. uh, yeah, Adam, Fellowship of the Nib, indeed. Uh, Thinking about when I saw the first Lord of the Rings movie, and my cousin was a big fan, and that movie just seemed like it was so long, right? And it's like, is this ever going to be over? And I'm watching the story, and like it seemed like they weren't really getting where they were headed in that first movie. And I leaned over to her and I said, "Are they almost there? Are they there yet?" And she just looked at me and just burst out laughing in the middle of the movie theater, because of course it was a big. They weren't even going to get close to it in that first movie. So anytime there's a Lord of the Rings reference, I just think about that. Are we there yet? God no. There's 9,000 more pages to go. I couldn't. Did they ever get there? Please don't hate me. I really wanted to. I like it in bits and pieces, but I just can't rock the overall. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right. Shoto, welcome back. Uh, Dan will be working on a knife display case for one of your regular subscribers. And I know that you might have to make two of those, Dan, from what I heard in chat. I know you were busy, but I believe his lovely wife was very likely to want one of your lovely display cases for her lovely, for her, yeah. Adam says that it's fun to watch footage of Tolkien writing Elvish. Now that I would watch. I might happily watch 3.5 hours of that. Yeah, so you guys don't tell anybody. Don't tell. I may or may not have a hoard of art supplies on the way. May or may not have dropped another couple $100 into my art supplies shopping cart. Don't tell the cat. The cat's in charge of me. And they're scheduled to arrive next week. And I am hand flappingly excited about the colored paint that are on the way. Because they are made from some of those big whack of them that are made from semi precious gemstones, and It's going to be great. So I don't really have the camera set up to do an unboxing here. And does Maya know? For God's sake, who do you think was behind it? Who do you think instigates me to these things? It's just a good thing that neither one of us is like into robbing convenience stores because we would just be terrors. What are we gonna do with us? Here's my theory. You know, this is one of the pleasures of being my age. Is when I was young, I didn't have the sense to save my pennies and dimes until I could do this. Now I am, I'm not rolling in it by any stretch, but I have enough money for those pleasures in life. And I, I tell you, if it if you're my age and it makes you happy, just do the damn thing. Adam saw some old imagery from a 19th century Japanese fireworks catalog. Really beautiful illustrations. Oh my gosh. Um, I had a chance to go to the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And you may or may not know this, but he had a collection of Japanese woodcut prints. His brother Theodore was uh, he ran an art gallery in, I want to say, Paris. And at the time Vincent van Gogh was painting Japanese woodcuts and the East had opened up, we started to have things exported, and there was just a craze for anything Japanese. And he sent a few prints to his brother, Vincent van Gogh, and Vincent made paintings that were studies of those prints. And in the Van Gogh Museum, they have the prints. They have Van Gogh's actual collection of prints. Um, and I think they're actually the ones that. Now, my brain is telling me to hang on a second. I thought that they were maybe the actual prints that were owned by Van Gogh, but I mean, they're woodcuts, so one is much like another one. So I won't swear to it. You'll have to Google check this and be Google sure on whether or not they actually were the ones that belong to him. But they are the woodcuts that he did his paintings from. And so you've got the original Japanese woodcut print, and then right beside it is the Vincent van Gogh painting that he painted. And it's so fantastic to just side by side look at the inspiration and look at the expression. Um, Yeah, if you ever get a chance to do that, that's a really cool museum, and it's a wonderful body of work because he was a very prolific painter, and he had a fairly short career. So you can see his early paintings they're very humble, and they're like browns, a pair of boots, and kind of a small painting that's probably yay by yay. And then as it goes through, and you see five or six sunflower paintings all hung beside each other, and they were arranged on the walls in chronological order. So you walk through and you see the development of the art. And to me, that was really cool. That was really cool. And then to see some objects from his world and just see what he was looking at, where he was living, the colors that were around him, the things that he might have seen as he looked out a window. Uh, just really cool. Yeah. Let's go to the museum. Always thought if I went back and did a master's in fine art, I would do my thesis on the work of Van Gogh, just because it's just like a capsule of kind of everything you want to know about the major themes in art history. And he didn't do well with stuff. I mean, his brother tried to move a few of his paintings, but until he died, his work didn't really sell. So all of his life, he sort of labored away. I can't imagine, like, 100 years after my death, that this stuff shows up on coffee mugs, and because we'll still be drinking coffee. We will. We won't give that up. We'll be flogging, the pebble textured tote bags in the merch store, and I'll be going, please, I've sold one. Come on. I don't know. Sometimes Maya abides in it. I think there's a certain amount of being there, Dan. Better a being than a doing. Waiting for Adam with the Sinatra doobie doobie doo. We've got the great debate of the Greek philosophers, whether it is to do is to be, or to be is to do, and we resolve that. Oh my gosh. Oh, Maya. No. Uh, oh. Oh my gosh. I I hate that that's funny to me. I keep tipping this up so I can see where the sparkle is, because I want to um I want to encircle the sparkly areas, because some of these I've done where I've like put just kind of slashed them in half, and I know it's hard to tell on camera, but they look really cool if I can sort of put a boundary around the splashes of sparkle. And my apologies, because I know my camera just decides to go, where's the focus? Blurp, blurp. All right. Yeah, you guys give her some extra credit, because her native language is Norwegian, so she's bringing the puns in a second language. I don't know. Yeah, like that's gold star level. Good night, Quilts. I will go check out your live stream and bye till good night. Pebbles, rocks, show them on your channels. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Again, not talking in sentences. Chocolate Quilts is saying that they are going to maybe do some pebbles and rocks and show them on your channels, and that's terrific. That's terrific. You haven't been in here for a minute. Uh, we've kind of changed how we share links around here, so I will encourage you to come in the comments after this live stream or anytime, and I'll drop a link from those comments so that people can uh, track that down. So if you're watching this on replay, uh, check the comments for a link to Chocolate Quilts. Uh, give her a bit of love because we yeah we've been around when they were still just talking thoughts, and now, which is it goes okay once you get into it. You're gonna find like that it's easier than and it's not as scary. And then once you start having people come into chat, you're gonna get people who are encouraging you, and it's sort of one of those into it. I think you're gonna find it rewarding, and I just wish you the best of luck with that. So yeah, and if you don't know how to leave a link, I will see your comment, and if you don't have a link in your comment, I will put one in my reply, so that we can yeah, so everybody can find you and support your art, your chocolate making, and your quilting, and any other creative thing you're up to. Adam says in Chinese, if you take the phrase seek truth from facts and change one character, you get seek truth from lions. And Danny's working too. You were working so hard on the live stream game there, but he's been kind of reconfiguring his workshop. And I'm just curious. I know you mentioned the other day on your stream that there was some insurance stuff going on and some water damage and stuff. So I don't know. I guess I didn't know that you had your main workshop have some sort of catastrophe. So I hope that everything's getting squared away. And I'm really impressed with the sort of I won't say like entry level tools, but Dan just like takes what is at hand, what's available to him, and he puts it to work, and he's making beautiful stuff with the humble things that are around him. So, I work with a piece of paper and a pen, and Dan is he was making tables earlier when I was watching him this week, and doing debunking some internet myths about whether or not you can mix sawdust with glue and infill holes in your wood. And the answer is no, you can't. You can spend a lot of time and make a lot of mess and potentially start a fire in your shop trying to do it, but it's kind of pointless. So I did I did enjoy that will it work kind of an exercise there. I know. No, 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 please don't. Oh, please don't say that. My artful rocks have been practiced for 6, 8 months now. So yours practiced that much? Probably not. Just keep practicing. Just keep burning through the paper. And I just really feel like drawing circles on paper tonight. It's just I've so effing much stress in the last couple of weeks. It's been absolutely sickening. So I mean, literally physically sickening to me. So I'm glad you guys are here, and I hope you don't mind watching me draw circles on paper. Oh, a messy happy channel, just fantastic. Dan, the primary shop had a roof collapse. Oh my golly. Oh, I'm so glad you were insured. I'm so glad. Oh gosh. let's get out the old 10 millimeter. If I can find it. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you weren't in there when it. I'm glad you weren't hurt. And jeez, that's life though. Like you'd be going along thinking everything's. You just kind of got the all of the plates spinning and all of the balls in the air, and then then somebody lets loose a bunch of circus monkeys, and all hell breaks loose. So I want to see this mysterious one before I get started into it. Ooh yeah. The story between I like the O3s and I like the O1s. The story between O1, the place takes them out of the case. You don't get to select them, and I guess the person reading it read it this way instead of this way. So basically, got a handful of these, and then I had to put them to work somewhere. Because I cannot be trusted in an art supply store, even to make a return without losing $50 bill out of my pocket. So it was economically made sense to just keep the big pens. Just me. I know. I think for some people, like they go to Costco and they're like $213. Can't get out the door for under $213. Me, it's an art. I can get out of Costco without buying anything, but a hot dog and you know, it's hard to resist that. Resist that $2. What is it? Is it still 250? Yeah, I bet it was, Dan. But boy, art supply store? No, it's take my money time. That might have been art math I just engaged in there. I have $15 worth of pens that wasn't what I asked for, but I'll save money by keeping them. Yeah. So yeah, Dan is rebuilding. Apparently, he had a natural disaster of some kind befall his shop. He had it all set up in probably the way that you wanted it, and that transition period is boy, it can take a lot out of us. It's also here, Adam. Adam, what's can chime in on the Chinese word for uh, crisis? My recollection is that it is the same word for opportunity. So now in the rebuild, you'll get a chance to configure things a little more ergonomically and to just address any sort of little detail that wasn't quite right the first time around. And once you get through that process, I just know you're going to have a wood shop that is a place for you to very happily work away. Now that I'm 80% of the way done with this, I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, that would have been really cool to use white ink on. Craft Zone. Hi, Hannah. Yeah. Right, much more intelligently designed this time around for sure. Exactly. Hi, Craft Zone. Hello, Happy New Year. I know I already told you that, but well, we're gonna do that this week. Mm. Thank you, thank you. Clocking in from India. I do love it when we get all international up in here. That's just a lot of fun. It makes me smile so much when you guys are in here talking about art, and especially when I hear starting your channels, Chocolate and Dan, because that means there's just more artists in the world making more art and encouraging more people to make some art. Yeah. I think I learned by now to put a little. I gotta put a mat on the protective mat. It's Adam says that this is a nice format. If I ever live stream, I would do it this way. I I do occasionally live stream horizontally. Um, pardon me. Whenever I'm live streaming with friends, we use a horizontal format. The horizontal live streams, they'll pick it up on replay a little bit, but they never get the viewership these do. I do wish that it had the functionality of being able to adjust the speed for you guys and the quality. You do have more viewer controls when you are in horizontal, but when I do a horizontal live stream, I'll very often have like 25 to 35 views. And when we stream in vertical, quite often I'll finish and there'll be 200 or more views. And then once it's in replay and it's processed, and you're on watching on replay, you can adjust the playback speed and the quality. I mean, it's limited by what quality I can get for upload. And I keep thinking that YouTube is going to just listen to people eventually and bring those the good things from horizontal that they're going to apply it to vertical. Uh, I haven't seen any kind of announcements that they're working on it. I haven't seen any movement towards that. I think they're just trying to lowest common denominator us back down to this limited functionality. Oh, you mean the art format? Okay. All right. Thank you. You do have to redirect me. That is, yeah, you do. Somebody asked me the other day, and I keep hoping he'll show up so I can apologize. Uh, uh, oh my gosh. So somebody in here the other day, and one of my regular viewers, and he asked, "How do you paint rocks underwater with oils?" And you guys know I'm autistic. You know where I went. I went very literal with it, and I said, "Oh, crap, zone! Did we finally punch through? Did we finally make 300?" Yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody who has subscribed, to all my new subscribers, to all of you. Yes, we finally did it. Thank you to everybody, old subscribers, new subscribers. I just appreciate it so much. Yeah, we're getting so close. I need 500, and then I'll work on the watch hours that we can do together. But the subscriptions, I've got to ask you guys to help me with that, to subscribe, because I can't do that on my own. I can grind out everything else, but Carrie Ann, thank you. You guys, this is so exciting. Yeah, we are 60% of the way to the goal. And yeah, we just do it by doing it. Any, anyway, yeah, so I said, basically said, dude, you can't paint rocks underwater. Man, you got to take them out and dry them off. And then, put down a base coat, let that dry. Then you can paint them. Like 3 hours later, somebody said something to me, and I realized that I had, yeah, thank you, Maya. I'm pretty sure what he meant was, how do you paint a picture of rocks with water flowing over them? Like, I'm sure that was the question. At the time it hit me, I was like, nope. How do you paint rocks underwater using oil? I was like, you couldn't use a spray can. The flow, the stream would carry. You just can't. No, that's even with scuba gear. No, you're not going to do that. I know you guys will laugh with me at stuff like that. So thank you, chocolate. It was too funny to keep that to myself. Yeah, whatever look you're imagining on my face, that was it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm very literal for a smart person. Anyway, that's, you just get that as a bonus here on this channel. So I just hope he didn't feel like I was being a smartass at his expense. I hope he understood that I was just, being autistically literal about. So, in case anybody wondered about actually painting actual rocks under actual water with actual paint, I have no advice for that. Pretty sure the answer is no. But if we can, I don't know. I was like building a structure in my head for where we could, like, a box or underwater. You put the rocks in it. Halfway down the Marianas Trench, dry room. Oh, the autistic mind is a terrible thing to waste. How are you, Carrie Ann? It's lovely to see you in here. Speaking of painting rocks, Carrie Ann is a painter of rocks. And yeah, if we could just. You guys want an impromptu art show? You tired of watching this? Let me grab something. Because Carrie Ann, I know they've been working on you. You paint these beautiful rocks, and then it's hard to turn them loose. But all right, y'all ready for this? Hey, Wabbit. Silly Wabbit 5. Okie dokie. Dude, we gotta talk. I've been seeing you in some dark corners lately. I don't dare de-lurk in some of those places where I've been seeing you. It's like, guys, silly wabbits, and they're a bit of a dark horse. Wow. It's all cool. You're welcome here, but wow. Alrighty. When you turn your rocks loose, they they go live lives out. Why am I in the dark corners? Oh, because sometimes lately the dark corners are, well, let's see. I don't know if there's a diplomatic way to say this. Yeah, maybe. Uh, they come reaching out for me, and it's cost me. It's cost me. Yeah, some of the people. There were a couple of people that used to hang out with us in here, and I now have found out that I'm blocked, and it's probably down to somebody who's just playing really dirty. So, uh, yeah. So rock show. I I have found all of these bad boys out and about in the wild. Anyway. Also, I mean, I still do care about that work. I still do care about pushing back on high demand religions that are taking advantage of people. So, yeah, this one in the park. Is it green ladybug? Green frog? I know, it's the collection hour. That one's from a beach down in Bandon. Ooh, Mount Hood. Isn't this one cool? Sorry about the glare. We either got glare or shadow. Yeah, up at Mount Hood. This one, it's got a bee on it. And it's all glittery. I think some delightful little girl. And then on the back it says, be nice. She didn't even, I assume it was a she, they didn't even put like their hashtag and stuff. They just put it out to go out and be there in the world. And this one came from Hendricks Park down in Eugene. Wait, oh. Oh, is he getting better and getting more active? Is that what's happening? Yeah, I haven't, my mom's Papillon took a flying leap off the sofa and made a really bad landing. And I'm going to show you pretty rocks and tell you a sad dog story. It was like paralyzed from the waist down for the first few days. And then she eventually recovered, and she, like, they put up foam steps so that she doesn't vault off things quite as much, and like back to normal. But that recovery process of trying to keep him quiet, super, super difficult, super challenging. The good news is the dog did make it down the other side, and off. She would just take a run and take a flying leap off from the back of the sofa over to the back of the chair. Just crazy dog. This one has a mop and a bucket, and it says that the person who painted this rock was on strike to paint rocks. I found this by a waterfall down at McDowell Creek in Lynn County. On strike. Went on strike and went hiking at a waterfall. I love that. Oh, this one came from Silver Creek. Got a turtle. Like, when you turn your rocks loose, they go places. And I have, as many as I've collected, I have picked up more. This one came from Government Camp. I have picked up more, taken them someplace, and left them. So the ones that have a really clear, like a social media account name, those ones I take, and I take them on a trip, unless they're super cool. Like this one says Lincoln City Rocks, post on Facebook. But a yellow submarine. Oh wait, I was holding it the wrong way before. Sorry, you guys. This one was just too cool. So I often, I will often send them on a journey. So if you put Hey Carrie Ann on there, they might go out into the world, and then the stories might come back to you. So I know it's really hard to let go of your art. Somebody suggested that if you're painting rocks, that you do 5 ladybugs, and then you can keep the prettiest one, or the one that has the most character, and then the other 4 you can set them free, and put your info on them. So I hope that you'll do that. If you want to keep them, that's all right. But for those of you who do paint actual rocks, there are people out there who, how I found this many of them, I don't know. I'm just, because I have the gimpy gait, I have after my, it's always a sad story when I take a bed. Right, you guys know I'm it'll be 27 years this year surviving a bone tumor. And so when my leg broke and it was rebuilt, the good news, don't be sad, had a tumor, still alive. Broke my leg, but they fixed it and I didn't get amputated. So I go hiking with my gimpy leg, and I am 1 inch shorter on one side, so it's not a lot. It's, we put shoes, and there's things in my shoes, and my heel is built up, and it's pretty good. But I lost some of the nerve when the leg broke, so I'm not quite like dead leg, but I don't have good proprioception on that side. So when I walk, I tend to really look at the ground. And as a result, when people leave stuff on the ground, I find it. So, anyway, maybe I find more than the average bear when it comes to painted rocks. But God, it just tickles me so much when I find a little piece of art that somebody has set free in the world. So, you can't really know what's going to come back. So if you're a painter of rocks and you have any encouragement for Carrie Ann to set her rocks free, leave her a comment. Leave her a comment. I'll make sure it comes to her attention. Okay, let me catch up on chat here. Okay. Yeah, he's getting better, but he's upset because he's not in bed with you. So he's probably on less meds, right? And he's probably just whining his head off. I know. Yeah, Maya's got a sweet, sweet dog. Yeah. Hang in there. We know it's temporary. He just doesn't. Silly Wabbit says that their cat got a cast because she, oh dear, had a pretty bad injury. Oh, and then putting it back on. Oh, poor cat. Yeah. Oh, Dan. Oh, Dan says that is cool. Someone puts okay, let me just read it. That is cool. Someone puts these out for people to find. We have a guy on the East Coast that blows glass ball ornaments and puts them all over for people to find. That is fantastic. In Lincoln City, Oregon, they have quite a few glass blowers in town, and they do the same thing. They make these glass floats, and then I don't think they do it every day of the week, but during tourist season, maybe every day, somebody goes out very, very early in the morning, and they um, they used to hide the floats. Now I think they hide some sort of a token, and you can take it into the glassblower shop in town and pick your float from a big basket of floats. So, but we have Japanese fishing floats that were used to float fishing nets, and they're big. Um, I could show and tell you one, but I don't think I can get it under the camera. I've got a couple that are just these giant glass floats. You used to be able to find them on the beach, and now the fishing industry uses a plastic float that is tied to the net better. So um, the glass balls are reminiscent of kind of the old days when you could do that. Yeah. So Maya says she's never seen a painted rock. You might start doing it. I think people would be delighted. Dan K, you know your dad knows what I'm up to. He has a tall boot on that side. I took my hiking boots to a cobbler and had him put a insert in between the heel and the sole, and that helps tremendously. I still have to watch where I'm going. Yeah. I did find them paint. I from different wonderful artists who have shared them, and I generally find them. I will tell you, if you ever go to McMinnville, Oregon, and walk down Main Street, you will find painted rocks. Somebody there on the in the main business district. I mean I yeah, last time I walked through I saw three of them that were like breast cancer symbols and support symbols and pink hearts um, and I've seen a couple of other ones, but it's such a like it's a wonderful place. I know somebody else will find them and be delighted. So I I think I picked up one the first time I came through, and but pretty much yeah, there's a place to go. Yeah. Oh, you guys didn't know it was a thing. I think it started during the pandemic, like during 2020, and people were trying to kind of keep themselves busy. And Maya, Maya says if she had oil paints, she would paint rocks and put them underwater somewhere. Oh, yeah, it could. I mean, yeah, I found them. I think I found some up in Washington too. Yeah, floats. Yeah, floats. Oh, poor kitty. Like the first one's bad enough, but then when you have to go back and it's like the fifth time and they're like, they take this off and they don't even give her time to give her leg a good licking, probably, before they're wrapping it up again. Oh, yeah. Dan, you probably could. There's up in Portland, I know there's like one of those miniature libraries. Oh, Dan, you can miniature library boxes from scrapwood, or people would love, those little mini libraries. Somebody has one of those, and they do this is goofy, a keychain exchange. So, like key fobs, decorative key fobs, and you can leave one and take one, or leave three and take three. Um, yeah. So I thought it was all over the place. If you like look under hashtag painted rocks or kindness rocks, hashtag kindness rocks, let's remember to hashtag that for this video since we've spent so much time on it. You'll find stuff, especially on Facebook. You'll find all kinds of stuff. So Carrie Ann, is there anything we can do to help you out and help you pass this interval besides just encourage you and remind you how fun life will be once Orion gets back online, um, or in line on that low line that he takes through the world? Yeah, one of those neighborhood cabinets, and you just like anybody can walk up to it and you can take a book. You don't have to leave a book, you can just take a book, or you can just leave some books. They're quite informal, and almost, I want to say, almost every time I have peeked my head into them, I've found interesting things. And I'm just shocked at the generosity of people. I shouldn't be, but like there'll be popular bestsellers in there. There'll be kid books, cookbooks, um, tokens, trinkets. Holy crap, I should make some bookmarks. You know what? There we go. There's our next thing. We're going to make bookmarks. Bookmarks, I tell you. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, painted pebble bookmarks. Because I can just sneak those into the... We're not going to do them today. I don't... We got to put paint on and wait for it to dry. And we'll add some bookmarks to the what do they call those? Like the little lending libraries. Yeah. For you and Orion. Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable that they are able to do anything. And for you guys who don't know, Carrie Ann has a long-haired dachshund who regularly makes appearances on her channel. Hey, Carrie Ann, with 3 N's. And yeah, if you like to learn and read books and hang out in a like an online book club, she has a corner joint for you. Just make myself a note here to drop a link for Hey Carrie Ann's channel after the after my live stream ends. So if people want to, and I've been very remiss in doing links back to my old videos, but I try to remember to drop links for you guys. Yeah, so anyway, he had to have a big surgery, and he's been on a lot of uh, some heavy doggy meds. And I mean, it's just, isn't it so tough when our pets, I'm sure it's tough for people with children too, but it's just our animals can't really talk to us, and we have to take care of them and get them what they need. And it's really hard when we know they're hurting and there's a limit to what we can do or understand. So just a shout out to anybody parenting pets. Yeah. I never searched your channel with just Hey Carrie Ann. It might take us to you because you've got um, she's got some uh, anti-Scientology activist work and a bit of protests mattered in there, but lots of hanging out, lots of quite a bit of fun on Wednesday evenings. So I don't know. Maybe let's just sketch in here and fill it in with some pencils later. I don't know. I kind of need a splash of something on there to go. Not feeling it. Right. Did I cover everything? Is there anything hanging? Did I answer all of the questions I started to answer? Uh, you have Dan says they don't have one of those library cabinets around, but you do have food cabinets. So, yeah, so people build little cabinets with doors on them and then maybe leave some food. That's really wonderful. That is really, really wonderful. Uh, Guys, there's so much chat here. Just, yeah, if I didn't get to it, um, exactly. If you're there on Wednesday, there's opportunities to win some wonderful illustrations, both for getting there early and showing up late. There's a love for everybody. Yeah. Oh, wait, let me reread this. Adam said if you go on Wednesday, Adam will be there. It's a big win for the viewer, and I have to agree with that. I do enjoy goofing around and cutting up with Adam. No doubt about it. Sidewalk library. Okay. Sidewalk libraries. Not shiny. Get to use a nice juicy pen. Yeah, I think you're right. That does sound right. Uh, I've befuddled myself. I don't know, something's overlapping there. Just gotta visualize it. I think there's another one right there. Well, I noticed let's see, towards the end of 2023, I was still able to go hiking. And then after I had the heart procedure in uh, March of last year, I haven't been back out hiking. And hiking was where I would find most of the rocks. But I had noticed by the end of 2023 that uh, I didn't find them on every trip. And there was for a stretch of time, every time I went for a hike, I'd find a rock. And like I said, a lot of them I'd kind of pick them up and um, tuck them in the car and then go hiking the next week someplace else where I'd leave the rock. Um, which has got to be kind of fun, especially like if they were ones that were done by kids and if they were watching social media going, where did my rock go? And if it turns up 150 miles away, that's kind of a cool thing for a kid. And then they get to learn about maybe they left it at the park in Sweet Home, and maybe it turns up at Multnomah Falls. You know, I'd always, I was always try to upgrade it a little bit, not to denigrate the park in Sweet Home, but uh, so I finish all of the stories in the story. Yeah, I'm supposed to be getting sent to cardiac rehab again for several weeks, and after I get cleared, then I should be able to be hiking this year. So the rock hunt and or waterfall chase will recommence, and I guess we'll have to stay tuned to see if there are rocks to be found. But maybe we all will be part of the second wave of the rock painting shenanigans. I'm just determined there will be more art in the world. Trigger Happy Customs. That's who it was. If you guys see Trigger Happy Customs, uh, I'm, it was just, it was one of those moments. Um, yeah, I think the key to probably to painting a picture of rocks with water flowing over them is to paint in the rocks and then to dilute the paint and do a glaze a la Bob Ross and sweep it down with a big brush to make the effect of water going over it. But you do probably have to like fairly well detail the rocks in case anybody was still wondering how to render underwater rocks in oil. Yeah, Dan, you know what I'm saying? A happy little rock in a stream. I've done a few uh, mountains with trees and a little bit of pool of water in front of them, Bob Ross style paintings, but I didn't have oil paints, so I did them in acrylic. They were okay. Um, I had fun doing them, but I bet they would really be. Uh, yeah, I bet they'd really be quite a bit more fun in oil because the paint behaves differently. Yeah, so anybody out there do any Bob Ross style oil painting? My question would be, was it as fun as it looks? Because it looks like it's really fun. Oh, okay. All right. You know why it's not as easy? Because they would have a lot of things prepared and they took a lot of cuts. And so he'll crank out that painting in the 30-minute time slot, but actually doing it, you can't keep up with Bob Ross as he's painting on the show. You could have the videotape. I used to videotape the show and then I would pause it and then take, 10, 20 minutes, 20 days, whatever, for whichever step, right? Um, but you'd have to be Bob Ross to keep up pace with it. And of course, like back when it first started, airing, we didn't even have VCRs. And then when you had VCRs that could record, and you could record Bob Ross and actually take a, stop the tape and execute the step, I would not be surprised if there wasn't some YouTube videos, pirated Bob Ross. It's a happy little tree. There are no mistakes. Yeah, I didn't. I know there's a movie about it. I know that there was, things are not always as they seem. And he was kind of portrayed as this really kindly person. And what I heard about the movie was that he was a flawed person. And so I choose to have like a happy little Bob Ross in my head and not watch the movie. So if y'all would just let me keep my Bob Ross happy little painter illusions, that would be super. Because even if he was awful, he was no L. Ron Hubbard, right? And leave a little room in the world for people to be. Oh, yeah, I've gone and done it to myself. uh, Happy accidents. Yeah. Maya says, I keep having trouble painting slow because when I first started learning painting, I was watching a lot of high speed tutorials. Right? And I think the creators think that we already all know that they're speeding that stuff up because there's not, is rarely any kind of disclaimer about, this took me 2 weeks to put these clips together into a 30-second short. But I'm guessing with practice, you might turn out to be, kind of a speedy, really skilled painter. Yeah, we don't do that high technical production value kind of stuff here. This is all real time. We include all of the dinking around and shuffling and hunting for a pen and that's okay. I I feel like there's just a lot of content out there that does that. We have to hold everybody's attention for the whole video, and I'm like, no, you guys. The average viewer time on my videos is about 5 minutes, and um, I'm that's cool. That is absolutely fine. Those of you that are hanging around for longer than that are you're hanging here to chat, and that's good. But just distract somebody from worry and strive for 5 minutes. That's good. If you're here the whole time, oh my golly, I appreciate it so much. If you're just here for a bit, it's all good. All of it. Judging by some of the numbers lately, I might even have some hate watchers, and you know, I don't hate watch hours, so. Also, I'm pretty sure even if you're hate watching, that we put this message out of the value of having an art practice. Like, you can hate watch all you want. And you're probably going to be doing more. Yeah, you come back to me in 6 months and tell me like how much art you've done because um, that's what I'm gonna. I'm just gonna. I'm get my revenge by making you do art. That's what it's gonna come down to. Yeah. Yeah, Maya says so that her mind automatically thought that that was the speed you were supposed to paint. So, and I we've seen Maya and I paint. Maya just gets the like the wets the paper. There's some pondering. There's some waiting, and then I'll see her put a little blue at the edge of the paper and maybe do a wash, and then it's watercolor, right? You've got to wait. So I go do my thing, and I'll do my thing for a few minutes, and I look up, and you look over there, and Maya's got like she's got all the trees in. The paint has just moved across the field of water. What started with a little bit of shadow is now turned into an assortment of trees in the foreground, midground, background. There'll be a path coming down, and I mean, I just feel like I blink and I look over, and boom, there she did it again. So yeah, we have to. If you guys are not following Maya or watching her do her magic painting, I know. Don't tell her that she's really kind of shy. So yeah, don't embarrass her. Just like she's a wild painter in her environment. But my golly, is it fun to watch? Ernest, hi. Right? Dan, see, it's not just me. Dan says, I still remember watching you two paint. I looked away for like half a second and looks back, and Maya has a full on landscape done. I know. Just, I, yeah, she's been trying to teach me. You guys, you've seen Maya's stuff, right? That's she's yeah, she's very, very good. She's very good. I think I got the hills locked down though. But my sky is blotchy and purple. I don't know. I know I need better paper, and I need bigger paper. I was kind of afraid to go big. But yeah, one of these days, man, one of these days, Maya's just going to go, all right, maybe I do have a little skill here. She does. It's fantastic. Alrighty. Ooh, this one's super shiny. We'll do that one. How are you doing? How are you doing? There, Ernest. It's so keep that one separate. Lovely. Always love seeing people come on back for a little bit more of art and the good company. Yeah, Maya, I ask you to please drop a link to your channel if you would be so kind to do that now. Right here in the middle of chat. Yeah. And to be fair, we do quite a lot of, I'm kind of casting about here. We do a lot of swatching. We hang out and we paint. You guys, we're not always online with the YouTube. I'm very confused. I thought my book of swatches was right here, Maya, but I've misplaced it. Anyway, we do spend a lot of time just getting paper out and then putting some paint on the palette and then not actually painting anything, but just painting some swatches. And I've been doing a lot of mixing with, I got a couple of new types of paint that are not widely, um, like old-fashioned paint, like ultramarine blue mixed with cadmium red. You can go online and you can see somebody do a color chart of exactly what that looks like. When you take a color like Zoisite Genuine that's made out of the mineral zoisite. No one swatched that and put it on the internet. I've got to learn that for myself, how that works with all of my other colors. So the only way to do that is to do it. And that means just getting out some paper and making some swatches. So I don't have, we did some really beautiful ones the other day, and I just can't see the pad of paper. But like, it's just a matter of doing quite a lot of this kind of painting. Sometimes this is how I've got one of my palettes arranged right now. So I've just got the paint out and working with it to see what it does. And from here, I might see something, this mixture in the corner. It doesn't look like much because I actually dipped into it and took some of the paint off and put it in a painting. But that's part of what feeds the creative process. So I will say that there's a fair amount of just taking the beautiful colors and swatching onto paper. And then when you come to work on a landscape, then you've got a bit of a vocabulary um, of your hand, of the paintbrush and the paint. Oh, I'm highly aggravated. All right, I have to let it go. It's probably just dropped off the back of the workbench here. So there's that. Yeah. Maya says on live streams I don't really do very good. Too distracted by chat, talking, and whatever. Still a lot of fun. I agree. Yeah. 5 on the top from the left. Are you talking about these guys, or are you talking about this? Yeah. I've never seen Letterkenny. Okay. All right. Okay. You know what's happening here, Maya? The chat is chatting with itself. We were talking about that. There's a point when you start out where you just sort of have to keep track, and the chat and the streamer have to kind of interact. And then there's a breakthrough where you get things rolling enough that people start talking to each other in chat. And then you can do your work and it's sort of taking care of itself. So, hello. Hello. Welcome into our arty chat space. Yeah, 4 and 5 on that. I'm gonna let me guess before I look at them, Dan K. They're gonna be sort of teal colored. Is that where we're gonna? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do not tell me that phthalo green is your favorite. Oh, that's okay. This one, magnesium green. That's probably my favorite. You guys have to pay the cat tax. Uh, keep an eye on that, Maya. Random emoji. I gotta go bribe the cat. Yeah, please behave in my chat. We don't do trauma dumping or sad fishing here, so. All right. Yeah. All right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, if there's zero content on that channel, just go ahead and use your hammer there, please. Mm-hmm. Well, of course, you do need to rotate out the cat food, even the kibbles. I had a cat that would just, I would literally pour the cat food from the bowl back into the canister, shake it, scoop it out. Like he would sit there and look at it like I was just trying to poison him. So we'd pick the food up, dump it into the canister, put the lid on the canister, go pour a glass of water, come back, open the canister, scoop it out, drop it in his bowl, and he would just dive into it. It's just, yeah, yeah, Ernest. Well, tell me how to do that. She does okay for quite a while. We've got a vet appointment coming up, and we got to check and see if her diabetes is out of range because she gets 4 meals a day, so we can help use diet to manage her blood sugar. So I don't wonder if she's not out of range and just trying to tell me that her brain's telling her she's hungry. But yeah, 4 times a day, 6 a.m., the cat alarm goes off. 10 minutes till noon, the cat alarm goes off. She gets fed at noon. And about, yeah, 4:45, she starts going off for her 6 p.m. feeding. And some days are better than others. You guys might do the little time. Yeah, she also, like, she was sleeping. I looked over her at her at midnight, and she was sleeping. So, and we were doing this. So, I figured, what is that? If you should let a sleeping dog lie, you definitely ought to let a sleeping cat, you know, just let that, just let that ride. So, Maya, did that check out? Dan says he tends to do the food in the bowl all the time, but he had to recently put his pupper on a diet, and he's unhappy about not being able to munch all day. I think when it comes to cats, you really sometimes they're just so mysterious. You just don't know why they change their cat minds about things, and it could be that she's really excited about a new flavor of food that she's recently been getting, and it could be that her diabetes is that her blood sugars are her up, and then the brain says, "I don't have enough energy or I don't have enough fuel," right? Because you have to have insulin to unlock the cells to allow the blood sugar out. So if she doesn't have enough insulin, the brain's pretty simple. It just goes, get us more fuel. And generally, if you're not diabetic, you get more fuel by eating. So um, that's why the hunger gets really ratcheted up with diabetes. And the answer to that is going to be that she's going to need to go back on insulin injections. So that might be it. I really hope it's just because she's just gotten really happy about the new flavor of food, and she wakes up and goes, "Oh, there's can I have new food? Can I have new food?" Yeah. Um, it, she's the second cat I've had with diabetes, and there's actually it's really pretty easy to manage, and they've got that loose sort of the loose skin, so you can really I use the super fine needles, and like she doesn't even when I get pick her up to give her her injections, she starts purring. So I know it's not physically painful for her. And she knows that, she gets some pets, which desensitizes the nerves, and then take up a pinch of the loose skin and just put it right in. And then she gets her food. So for her, like, it's not a big deal. She doesn't go through the kind of suffering that humans do with it mentally of the I can't eat cake all day. Cats don't think that way. And to be fair, probably most diabetics don't think that way. Human diabetics either. But I appreciate the sentiment, Ernest. I do. Boy, I really just like. I'm sorry. You said something nice, and I just went, but no. Just me being autistic. Yeah, she's good. I think we're good. Yeah. How old? Uh, she is. Well, she was supposed to be 16 years old when I got her at the Humane Society. They kind of saw me coming. I had lost my cat, and they said, "Tell us about your old kitty." And I said, "Well, she was diabetic," and then kind of lost my shit right there in the middle of the Humane Society. And they just kind of went, "Boy, have we got a cat." They literally said to me, "You know how to work a diabetic cat?" That was the phrase verbatim. Um, And I said, yeah. They're like, you know how to give them shots? I'm like, yeah, not a problem. I myself am diabetic, so I know how to do it. And they said, we have this cat that's been in foster care for 8 months, she was taken from a hoarding situation, extremely sick, and needed to be in a rescue to get better. And they got her better. And then actually, she'd been down at the shelter for about 2 hours when I walked in there saying I knew how to work a diabetic cat. And they basically handed me 3 cases of cat food, a cat, paid for her microchip, paid for the adoption fee. I was there to get a senior cat. And I said, well, how old is she? And they said, she's 16. I was like, okay, that sounds good. Because like I said, diabetic, heart stuff. I didn't want to, adopt a kitten. I who knows how the hell long I'm going to be here. So I thought I'd get one of those old timer cats. I take her to the vet, and she was 16 months old, not years. So I think she's about 4. I'm not great with numbers. Yeah, I think she's about 4 or 5. So she's still very youthful, very energetic, and a good kitty. 15. Man, I love some old senior cats. Right. Exactly. They're like, if this doesn't go well, she'll just think the cat was old and croaked. Like, I don't know what they were just thinking, oh my God, how are we gonna it's probably extraordinarily difficult to adopt out a cat with a significant something like insulin dependent diabetic, you know. And thinking about it, I'm like, what chance did she have, right? I could not. And she's long haired, which I wanted a short haired cat because cat hair and, you know, cat distribution system found me, man. She ate her food and she's now doing zoomies and she has her mousy cat toy and she is just talking shit to the cat toy, I think. What you doing, bud? Get that mouse. Yeah, she just started doing zoomies a couple of months ago. She's been living in the house for about 5 years and just, yeah, never did zoomies. Now she does zoomies. So I think that's going to be one of those cats that every cat I've had has done this. Like there'll be something and you'll think the cat's going to get on the counter and then they never get on the counter and then they're like 12 years old. One day you come out and they're sitting on your counter. That was my first cat. It's like, he's such a good boy. He never gets on the counter. Like I could leave something on the counter, leave the house, come back, and it was like he didn't go get it. And one day he kind of looked up and went, huh, wonder what's up there. So So cats are funny people that way. I really like this, how this one's coming together. Yeah. So, I mean, who can explain cats? You guys have cats, you know what I mean. Irish Mart. Yeah. You thought that was a simple question, didn't you, Ernest? But no. Those are great names. Ernest says, "My boy Thumper runs around all over the apartment. Zulu, his sister, is more chill and on her own. Well, Zulu, it would be on her own time. I see what you did there. Right? Dan says his cat never used to get on the bed. Now she lays on his pillow and claws his head most nights. Oh, you guys, you know what? I'm not gonna fill it in with all the tiny little. Well, maybe a couple. I think we may have finally got me to a spot where I want the O1. No, I got one. There it is. I got to put in a few tiny pebbles, but I'm going to leave lots of negative space. Uh, Sometimes a composition really benefits from having open areas. And some of these drawings I do are just they're purely exercises in getting my head to calm down. They're not really works of art. Every once in a while, I turn one out that I think, oh, it's kind of soothing to look at, and yeah, that could maybe go in a frame, and we might call that art. So the pen I switched to is an O1. The one I was using for the other outlines was an O3. I could expand my ability or use of varying line widths. Um, I could. I might work on it. I don't know. Did you guys hear that? She just went thundering by. Maya's dog is 11. Don't think I'd like the thin one for the accent lines. Um, my place is pretty much cat proof because it makes me happy to have it be that way. Yeah, she knows she's not supposed to get up on the not supposed to get up on the workbench here. I try not to put any temptations for her up here because uh, the materials I work with are sold as non-toxic, but they're tested to be non-toxic on somebody my size, people size. She's only 8 or 10 pounds, so what might be fine for me might be really, really bad for her. So, what? What? What's the matter? Did you lose Mouse? She must have 20 cat toys, and she plays with one of them. And every once in a while he gets sort of lost and then we have drama. Ernest, I'm jealous. I love a 15-pound cat. My second cat was a big, lovey bundle of catness. I do not give her catnip. She is one of those cats that gets really aggressive if you give her the nip. She gets really bite. So, yeah, some cats will just get mellow and kind of hang out, and then other cats will just be kind of a menace. And so she turns all into teeth and claws when she gets the nip. And believe it or not, when I first got her, I found all kinds of little like jerky treats, things that were high protein, not because she's diabetic, so she can't really have like the high carb cat treats. And she kind of looked at me like, "What the hell is this?" If I put them on top of her food, I'm not kidding. Things that my other cats loved, she would eat all of the food around and leave the cat treats in the bowl. Just doesn't get it. Yeah. Thanks, Maya. That was that what I. Yeah. Did we get trolled? Is that what was going on there? Um. Yeah. I have. We had some of that the other night, and I have to say that I do. It is probably not a stranger. Kind of bullshit, hey? And I know if you came in once to do it, you're probably still hanging out there lurking. And I don't know why you're wasting your time with it. Because you're not going to stop our live stream. And you're not going to get traction in here. Now, I will say when my moderator handles it, she does tend to have the. Well, she's got the ability to go look at the channel and make sure we're not being unjust to anybody. I am not going to take time to do that from here. I'm just going to reach up and just full on, no timeouts, just full on blocking. Okay, all right. It is. I don't, and there's a bunch of stuff going on that you guys I haven't talked about. It is some just ugly, sort of kind of stuff. I know that if I give it time, the people who are reasonable are going to see what was done, um, and I kind of feel if anybody's going to be punishing to me or block me, especially someone who's been in the channel, maybe talking to us and doing that. They will either come to their own realization about what's going on, or they won't. It's okay. There are so many people who do want to come and just be cool and do art. Uh, I feel like I do want to protect this space and make it not be anything that's toxic or that is shenanigans. That in life, I mean, I've talked about some of the health challenges. I know for every one thing I have, you guys are out there with 3 or 4 things. And life is too short to have that kind of stuff. Um, Life is too short not to have art, not to have a wood shop, not to have our pets and our joy, our hikes, our painted rocks, whatever. Um, what do you guys think? Doing a little bit different direction on that one. Yeah. How are we doing on time? Well, we rolled right up to 2 hours, didn't we? Yeah, just kind of a little different. Trying to do a little. Um, looking at it, kind of looks like ripples on water. I'm not intending that necessarily, and if that's what it's gonna, it does kind of. Those need to be move out just a little bit further each ripple out. Yeah, yeah. So you can fill in, you can fill in the space with all the little circles you want. Irish Mart says, looks like an interesting assortment of rocks, right? This one's going to need some, I think it's going to need some white ink or something on it too. It's a little dark, it's really kind of cluttered. And then if you can leave a little bit of the negative spaces, right? Where the eye has, some nice big spots to go and sort of rest. That helps you to visually be able, the viewer, to be able to visually resolve the rest of it. When I'm just trying to get the clutter out of my head, I will put, I'll put circles all over the damn thing. But if I'm working on having a little bit of a better composition, then I want to try to balance negative space and positive space. Positive space being an area where a technique is used to represent a thing. Negative space being the area around the thing. Yeah. Yeah. What have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. All right. One more. Just one more. And then I think we'll call it a night. Just because I'm having fun. Gosh, I like that one. I know. What do you guys think? Green? Pink? Oh, it's kind of stormy. I'll save that. Sorry. Try not to hum into the mic. We did that big stack of these guys the other day, the blanks, and I think I have just blown through everything except, well, this one's different. Let's go with this. The purple one is interesting. The purple one. This guy? I'm looking. I'm thinking. My first thought is that needs another layer of color. My second thought is push through the resistance and see what happens. Yeah, that's what Dan says. I don't see the pebbles, but you're the pebble person. Do you see the pebbles in any of them that I pull up? Or is it just this one? Let's do it. Let's just see what, It wouldn't be the first time you guys have thrown out a challenge from the chat and it's worked out okay. Because the worst that happens, what's the rule? Come on, you guys, what's the rule? If it turns out bad, it's just a piece of paper. And it's just a piece of paper. And sometimes when we push a little bit, we can have a creative breakthrough. And you guys know you've been watching, I've been doing the same thing. A lot of this very similar things. So okay, I see a nice big one right here. So the worst that happens is it's just a piece of paper and we go, no, it found its way to the garbage can, recycling. Or actually, if they're quite, if they're pleasing, I keep them. If they are displeasing, I cut them into small pieces and I use them in collage. Because if it's ugly, it's just not cut into a small enough piece. That's a rule from quilting. And I think it works with paper crafting too. But even if this is an unmitigated disaster, the world won't end. It's just a piece of paper and some paint. I'm hesitating. It almost looks like a map, or like we're looking at a picture of the seafloor taken by a satellite or something. There's just some really interesting stuff that almost looks like a topography. I'm having Fort Knox flashbacks. Oy. Just orienteer my way around this. But if there's another thing that can happen before it becomes fodder for collages. Collages is cutting stuff up and then moving your things around until it makes a design and gluing stuff down. It's kind of I can also bring in other media, other paint, maybe some gel pens, colored pencils, watercolor pencils. This is a little bit dark. I can also take a brush and water and re-wet this paint and bring some of it off. The outline is done with permanent ink, so that's gonna stay. So I will tell you from here that I know that this is not a it's not going to be a completed drawing with just art lines. It's going to need something more. And I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll find out. I I have an inclination to leave this purple area without circles and maybe do something else there. So Ernest says it kind of reminds him of a butterfly wing zoomed all the way in. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like that. Ah, actually, I like that a lot. You guys know I'm thinking arty thoughts when I get quiet. And you're still cleaning up? It's gonna be it's gonna be very spiffy for tomorrow's project. I will say, I think there's something very satisfying about having the workspace tidied up. It almost makes room for the creative work, and knowing you can just reach over and get your hands on that tool. That I know, that's what she said. Um, you could you can get a hold of the screwdriver or the measuring gauge or whatever you need to. Oh no. we've reached the we've reached the she's telling herself jokes portion of the program. Yeah. I like anything that'll help you have just a good workflow. Yeah. righty. I'm not. Uh, that is a word that it makes me laugh, and I cannot pronounce it. I know I cannot pronounce it. I'm not even going to try. But Dan wrecked his shop. It's good though. That's if you get stuff strung from here to there because you've been doing creative work. It's good. Yeah. Thank you, Maya. Maya says thank you to all the lurkers and replay crew. We do love you. We do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody hanging out and spending time. Uh, it just makes me happy in my heart that people might be out there making art and being creative and crafting away and getting out of their heads and into their hands a little bit. It's it's bound to make the world overall be gentler, kinder, more loving if we can calm ourselves down and try to make like here's one thing. Uh, we've been through December. December is always a heck of a month. And we can get worn out, we can get tired out, we can get sick, our resources get depleted. It just takes a lot out of us. And that's part of it is the winter season, part of it is the demands of December. And then we find we're running on the ragged edge. And instead of responding, we're reacting. Anything you can do in your own life to soothe your nervous system, to bring it just down, regulate it just a little bit, will help you to find just that count, that beat where you can take a half a breath and have a half a thought and choose to respond instead of having a reaction. Reaction is just a survival instinct, right? It's acting on an emotional impulse. And it can be really destructive, right? We can, uh, when we're able or capable, if we can just get ourselves slow down and have a response instead of a reaction. So if you just keep that in your mind for the next week and see, I want to hear back from you guys on did that work? Did that help us to just maybe have a little bit of a smoother time with ourselves and with the people around us? Like just a little bit of a mindfulness thing to throw out there for y'all. You guys want an art show? Should we do a... feel like we got a pile of stuff here. I'm going to just close it out with the art show. I am feeling quite a bit better than I was a little earlier in the day. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll do some more stuff to this one. Maybe some stripes of white ink across here or something. Yeah. The colors. Yeah, it's just... I like a bright color. I like a subtle color with some, you know... I'm not a big fan of red. I keep trying to work with red and it shifts over to orange. Orange I'm okay with. Shifts over to pink or purple. I'm okay there. Yeah, just... I keep trying though. Keep trying to make friends with it. Yeah, that one's a bit dark and mysterious. Yeah. There's a little bit of a metallic paint. Oh, there it is. See the gold kind of lights up in the lower right hand corner? I think this might have been Daniel Smith Cactus Flower, the duochrome paint on this, Maya. Yeah, Maya says she likes all the colors and hasn't quite figured out yellow and red. Yellow's another one. I start with yellow and the next thing I know I've gone to green. It's just so easy to sneak a little blue in there, and you know, I like green. And then a little more blue and a little more blue, and then we're into turquoise and teal, and I'm happy. Can we call this one yellow? Can I get some credit for yellow here? I think that's about as close as I. Let's see. Get the light to catch it. This has got some of oh, I think this one is duochrome saguaro from Daniel Smith. Just making a little bit of shine in kind of here. It's pretty subtle. Yellow adjacent. All right, I'll take it. This one have. Oh, okay. This one has cactus flower too. So when I tilt it a little bit, the light catches in it. It's something they're calling duochrome, which is a single pigment that I think when the light hits it from one way, or if it's got a dark background, it'll appear to be one color. And if you put it on a white background, it does another color. And there's just a touch of it right in there. Yeah. Oh, there it is. There it just kind of goes to almost a fiery, violety red purple right in here. One of these days, we'll get a good camera and really give it all a technical run for the money. Okay. I think I was kind of in a color mood here with these. Dan always gives me a wild card. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Maya, for your help with the moderating. You guys have a great weekend, and I hope I'll see you. I hope you'll see you over at Carrie Ann's tomorrow. Hey, Carrie Ann, early in the morning, and then to Dan's for some fun in the workshop. Bye for now.